there's probably going to be a little bit of a discrepancy here because no one is in. That's cool. That's absolutely fine. I'm just going to wait for a little bit and we'll see if anyone joins in. No one might join in, which would be fine. If that happens, then it's just I've embarrassed myself in front of everyone, and that's cool. Hello. That's one viewer. That's good. If you could give it a thumbs up, that would be great. I'm going to give everyone the test results. I just shot the video data for the Bsa R 10. Ah, he's gone. Okay, that's embarrassing. They're back, maybe. I don't know. I'm waiting for a few more people. Maybe I got lucky with my stream that I did the other day. There was a fair amount of people in. Hello, Zardus. Hello, Zardus. How are you? Hello, John. Mr. Gregory, good evening. I was just saying, okay, I'm going to share with everyone the shooting data for the Bsa R 10. I'll give it until 2 minutes in, and then I'll just go for it. I won't be hanging around for ages because you may have better things to do. Hello, Mr. Hickman. Good evening. Ah, yes. Caught me red-handed. Okay, so I have the data here. So this is a bit of a preview to the video that I will be making, doing a full review demonstration of the R10, right? So there is the group that I shot at 30 meters today. It probably looks worse than it is. Like when you look at the back of the card, it's a little bit different. So explaining this one for a second, I shot the group there originally, then I re-zeroed, and then I shot on the bullseye, right? So that was using the QIS pellets that I found out worked really well in the last stream. Okay, so I'm happy with that. That's cool, but I wanted to take it out to 40 meters. So there is the group that I did at 40 meters. It could roughly be covered by a £1 coin, just about. Then I re-zeroed it again, and that's the group that I got. I'm not very happy with that one, but I think being honest with you, you have to be honest with your shooting. So the data is going to go up and you're going to have it there. So what I thought was, well, okay, hang on, maybe I should try another pellet, because for whatever reason I wasn't very happy with that. And so the thing you do is try another pellet. So I tried the same thing again with JSB heavies, and that is the group that I got. So it's kind of the same, but I also got that screamer in there as well. I'm going to upload all the data because that's really important when you are shooting, to be honest in what you're doing, right? So it might be that for me and my abilities as a shooter, I'm better at using it at 30 meters. However, I'd still be happy with those two. That means that for me personally, I would use this for more of a sporting field work purpose, and I think you know what I mean. That first group was good. The second group, not so much, but you got to take the rough with the smooth. Let me just show you the gun real quick. The shot count is amazing on it. So from the classic 232 bars down to 100, you get an outrageously high shot count. One thing that I don't like about this, if I'm being honest with you, the actual kind of where you hold your hand is very thick and very clubby, and that's not attractive to me. It doesn't feel wonderful to hold. Hello, Mr. Tanner. Simon, nice to see you, sir. Thank you for all of your comments and support. It's really kind of you to comment. It's really appreciated, so thank you. However, this is one of the coolest looking BSAs that I've ever used. The cheek piece and the way that the kind of lines are, I think it's one of the coolest looking stocks that you can get on a gun. And I really like the kind of black pepper vibe that it's got. So yeah, that is the data that I have, which will be going into the video that I released at the weekend. I shot it all on both cameras, and it is a beautiful stock. Yeah, I think they did a great job. I think lots of Manelli stocks are beautiful. Manelli, incidentally, are a manufacturer of paintbrushes. I have it on good authority. Simon, you're very welcome. It's my pleasure. So what I thought I would do is just ask if anyone has any questions. It was really good fun. Are you really enjoying your videos? Yes. That's an odd question. Am I? If I was not enjoying it, I wouldn't do it. There would be no point in doing something one does not enjoy for free. I find BSA to be palette fussy. Yes. There was a gentleman on the... No, not this evening. I came out on purpose because it's still. There was no wind this evening. Any bad grouping is due to me rather than anything. It's nothing to do with the conditions or the gun. It's completely my bad. To be honest with you. So I'm never going to make an excuse. It doesn't mean anything. You just have to be honest with how you use the guns. Incidentally, when you get a gun straight from a box or a bag, the ones that have been most consistent for me all the time have always been air arms. It's always a pleasure to use air arms guns because they're so accurate. Hello, Tuesday's child. How are you? Tuesday, what do you have any experience shooting? That would be really interesting to know if anyone in the stream or the kind of conversation has any experience shooting. So Tuesday, it's really nice to hear from you again. What guns have you used, Tuesday? Would love an air arms. Gary, yes. What air arms would you like? Have you used them before? They are, for me, some of the best guns that you can get. I'm a big fan of air arms guns. The BSA were my first sort of introduction to air rifles. Air Arms Pro Sport had it about 2 weeks. Good man. Excellent choice. Just going to put this one down gently. They're rather heavy to be holding at arm's length, so luckily I didn't make myself look too silly there. No, the wind and the weather conditions are a big thing because it's been unbelievably windy in the United Kingdom for a long time, and you have a higher chance of having still conditions if you're shooting in the morning or in the evening. So hold on. Yes. Well, I do prefer shooting clays, but recently enjoyed rifle and won a bet shooting out of rest. Well done. Do you remember what gun you were using, Tuesday? Love from India. How is the Gammo different from a BSA? I mean, technically. How is the Gammo different from a BSA? I can't answer that question from an internals perspective, but I can tell you that the kind of Gammo Foxes feel just like a little bit of like a kind of more affordable version of the BSA. They have the same magazines. They have the same cocking mechanism. To me, they feel pretty similar. The biggest difference is the stock. And as Gary says, yes, you love your Ultra and you're loving your Rain. The Walther Rain is a fantastic gun. I sold it to a good friend of mine when I had mine, and he's using it to a better standard than I was. Let's put it that way. So that's cool. And they are both made in the same factory. I guess that Gammo and BSAs are made in the same factory. I know that Gammo bought BSA, but I can't accurately tell you anything other than that. Brocock Commander XR, Mr. Hickman, yes. That is a fine rifle. I have reviewed that and demonstrated it on the channel. I believe it was the one where I titled the video Day State Money for Half the Price. And it kind of is. When you use the Brocock stuff and you've been using Day States, you see the similarities between the guns, and you sort of see the kind of cross-pollination, if that's a term that we can use, with the guns and how they influence one another. So that's cool. I think that's really fun. In a similar way, Gary, Gary, I'm quoting him here. I'm a little bloke, so I do love a bullpup. I am not little. I haven't been little for many decades. I prefer rifles to bullpups. Good evening, Paul Slade. Good evening. I've been shooting my Mark 1 R10 from new. Had the old girl from new, and until recently never missed a beat. Had the reg service and put in a full set of seals, and it's silly accurate. Yes, Paul. You may. It's lovely that people are chiming in here. I'm really enjoying this. People should talk about things that they enjoy, and if you enjoy shooting and if you enjoy using a specific gun, then you should talk about it. Tuesday. Well, she uses, she or he, Tuesday? I'm guessing from her language that it's a she. Paul, I shoot a TX200, S400, RM8. RM8's more like it. So Gary, I've had people say that I'm not engaging, right? Like I've heard people say that I am not engaging at all. Some of the comments that people give, I mean, you're opening yourself up. If you are sharing a hobby of yours and you're making content about it, you have to open yourself up to being scrutinized. Yes, absolutely. And yeah, let's just leave it at that. So I'm not here to name any names, but you can probably look through some of the comments in some of my old videos. Paul Otten. And an RM8. You've got an RM8. That's cool. The last BSA I had was a BSA Mercury in 1980. Okay, I'm not familiar with what the BSA Mercury is. My first gun in the, what would it be, the late 90s would have been a BSA Meteor, which is an iconic gun that I'm sure many people on this chat have used at some point. But it's nice to know that people are entering competitions. Tuesday's Child mentioned that she, I assume it's a she, won a competition. I'd like to hear more about that, if at all possible, as I'm sure everyone else would, who is in this stream. Any thoughts on the Leshy 2? Yes, I do have some thoughts on the Leshy 2. So my thoughts on the Leshy 2 are, it seems unbelievably expensive. If it was a choice between having a Leshy 2 and saving some more money and buying a Steyr Pro X, I'd have the Steyr. I have never seen a Leshy 2 in person, so I can't. I'm just being honest with you. Yes, the Leshy 2 is way out of my budget. Was it Gary? Was it you who asked the question? No, it was Phil. But I don't think you need to spend massive money to have high accuracy. So Robert Hickman just suggested HW100. Yes, they're very, very good. Very good guns, which can be found used for a good price. Leshy is awesome. And some people agree with me too. Yeah, you don't need to spend a lot of money. I am a big believer, as well, when people get to know me, that you need to think about the economy of what it is that you're doing. And it's about, as the I've forgotten the gentleman's name, lead down range. So it's just about shooting so you enjoy it for a price that's affordable. BSA Ultra is the best bang for your buck. I think it would be a toss-up between the BSA Ultra, the Walther Rotex RM8, and the Walther Rotex RM8, and the, what's the other gun I'm thinking of? The S400. Springer. Okay. Nath. I'm just going to call you Nath, if that's okay. I have a tendency to agree with you. Nigel, I'll answer your question in a second. Springers are very satisfying. They are fun to get good at, and I'm not claiming that I'm good. There's a learning curve that one needs to stick to. But once you get the hang of it, it is very satisfying. I will agree. I think that PCPs are generally more accurate at longer distances, and that's just my experience, though. Or maybe that says more about me as a shooter. Nigel, hello. I'm new to this and just want to ask what you think of the Via Arc laminated in 2.2. Nigel, you need to be a bit more specific. Are you talking about the Springer, or are you talking about the 110 or the 100? You need to be a bit more specific. Mr. Stones, been out with my 95K for a change tonight instead of the PCPs I own. One hell of a rifle and great going back to your roots. Yes, there is something fun about reminiscing and going back to what it used to be like to shoot. So using a Springer or a break barrel or whatever, you know, it is fun going back to your roots. It is enjoyable, a lot of fun. But I had an old army brother who swore by Springers and agreed with your sentiments entirely. Well, look, yes, maybe. I think that they're just my opinions that I've garnered. I don't know if that's the right word, but that I have gained through experience. And I'm not claiming that I'm right. I'm more than happy to be told I'm wrong, or any number of other things that I do. But as long as you're having fun and you're safe, it really shouldn't matter. You know, this is about having fun. I'm not looking to change the world or do anything else other than enjoy and promote the sport of shooting. That's it. That's really, really important, I think. I much prefer 177, and there are some reasons why I prefer 177. It's just partly because the pellets are more affordable. I like that. Does IGT 2 like ammo? Yeah, Gary will have to answer that. I can't ask that one. But I do like shooting 2.2s in certain guns, right? So the BSA Ultra single shot, you know, they had the one Imagine that's the gun. Do you know there's that BSA that you kind of pump from the front? Or yes, you kind of do that. That was a cool gun, which I should never have really sold. I had one of those in 2.2, which was fantastic, and I could shoot crazy things. Inert gas. Oh, I can't answer that one, I'm afraid. Yeah. So again, there's no. They should be both as accurate as one another. Like one gun that was crazy accurate in 2.2 was the AGT Uragan. The general license. Phil, is the general license a license that anyone that wants to own an air gun will have? I got to be honest with you, I kind of see the point. I would advocate that people, if they introduce it, that they get one, because I have heard stories of people owning air guns that shouldn't. One of the things that is sad sometimes is when you see on the news that some lad in a park shot a load of swans with an air gun. It makes all air gun owners look bad, and I would hope. Okay, Nigel, I'll come to you in a second. My hope would be that if there was some form of licensing, it would weed out that from happening. I would absolutely advocate that. So Nigel, any Weirach HW100 in any stock is going to be an awesome gun. You really don't need to worry about it. I've heard some stories of there being an issue with the barrels of some like eras, but it's nothing that you need to worry about as long as you get to test the rifle. So if you're buying used, test the gun, make sure that it groups at 35 meters adequately, and then you can be happy that you've got a really cool gun. Yeah, I would going back to the general license. I don't have a problem with it, and if they introduce one, I would certainly apply, because hi Chris, watching from France. Thank you. With an RM mate like the Profs, yes, you have good taste. Moto, I'm not going to try and pronounce your second name. I'm all for some sort of licensing for air guns. Should have come in years ago. Cool. Anything that promotes safety is good. However, anything that draws extra attention to our sport or already stiff laws is bad. I think that there's probably going to have to be a period of limbo, possibly. Like, so the world is a different place now, in my opinion. And there are many reasons. It's sociologically a very complex issue about what's happening now, right? And there's loads of different factors. There's COVID, there's living conditions, there's people's well-being, right? I just need to check how much battery I've got, 9%. All of these things. And in order to shine a light on something, no, it's not a one-stop shop. And those sorts of questions are really tough to negotiate sometimes, because, you know, if they banned air rifle shooting tomorrow, I would be upset, because something I spend a lot of time on and enjoy would disappear. However, there would be other things that I would do that would fill that passion, right, and that interest. Now, I know for some of you who are going to be older than me, you know, you've been shooting ever since you were tiny, and to have it taken away would be a massive infringement on an activity that you've done all your life. I don't think that will happen anytime soon anyway. But I do support things being vetted properly, and I do support, if appropriately negotiated and managed, some form of general licensing for airgun ownership and their use. So like one of them would be if you are I don't know. I know that you, according to the Basque, you need to be 13 and accompanied by an adult to shoot, I think. And I'll just leave it at that. So I've been talking for 25 minutes. Good grief. Now is your opportunity, because I've only got 7% battery life yet left. Does anyone have any questions that they would like, or comments, or whatever that you'd like to thrash out in the last period of time before my battery runs out? I wish that I had charged it up, but I haven't. I'll let it go for another 10 or so seconds, which is a shame to leave it now because there's more people in here than there would be. The only big issue I see, if we go down to the powder route, we'll make air rifling more inaccessible. Phil, okay, like, are people actually enjoying live streams? Because I just did this as an experiment a couple of days ago in celebration of 2,000 subscribers, and I do kind of enjoy it. It's good fun doing it, but I'm only going to do it if people actually enjoy it. Okay, Tuesday's Child says that they enjoy it. That's good. Can I see some more feedback from people? If I have, oh, good grief, there's loads of people talking. Thank you so much for your insightful videos. Please keep up the good work. That's nice. Looking forward to the next live stream. That's nice. If you get hold of an 88 Airborne, okay, I can do that. Congrats on all the stubs. Wow, the thumbs up. Okay, that's quite a lot more support than I was expecting for what I was intended to be a throwaway comment. You're all very welcome. It would be interesting to see how licensing would be policed given the number of guns already out there. That is an incredibly insightful point. Paul, I'm just going to check the battery again. I'm still on 7%. I can stay for a bit longer, I suppose. Yeah, I wouldn't like to be tasked with engineering that particular policy. I think that would be a little bit hard. But, you know, all we can do is keep enjoying it and just being nice to each other about it. Like, I think that, like, we're working with a device which really hasn't changed very much. So one thing that I'm really interested in, and I think could be the subject of a stream entirely, good manners are free. Yes. One thing that I think could be the subject of a stream is lots of people are saying that there are airgun makes that are antiquated because they haven't changed their design for like 20 years. But some of these companies that these people are talking about make some of the best guns, right? And I'm talking about air arms. I know I talk about air arms all the time, but they are so good at what they do, right? And I don't see the point in changing if you have established something that works really well. There's no need, right? And I'm making reference to the S4 and 500 guns because they're so good, right? They're much better than some modern PCPs that I've used. What on earth is that? Oh, it's a tree stump. And if it's not broke, don't fix it. I agree. Absolutely. I think people want to see constant innovation the whole time. And I think that to an extent, possibly, gun manufacturers expect a degree of obsolescence in their guns, that they're discontinued or they are superseded by something which is then the latest thing that you have to go out and buy, when it's not the case, right? It doesn't matter what gun you use as long as it's doing what you want it to do, okay? And I think that I got lucky to an extent with my Red Wolf, because that's still the best gun I've ever used, right? 100%. The principle of shooting has not changed. No, you're absolutely right. Okay, so all it is like the target effects are changing this all the while. Yes, I agree, Mr. Bradford. Yes, So, okay, let me answer these questions last of all, and then I'll go. Okay, so FX are changing. Yes, I've talked about them extensively. Chuck something. Which PCP would you recommend for hunting in 2.2? Well, any PCP. Personally, it would be the HW100 in 2.2. I think that they're outrageous. Or a BSA Ultra, because they're nice and light. And when you go shooting, you're not like shooting hundreds and hundreds of pellets. You're shooting like a handful, right? So I would use a BSA Ultra. Tuesday's Child, how do you get rifles into the city? Just wonder how more people get involved if they don't have the outdoor space for a long range. So one day I want to talk to Uta. So Uta Beefs is a YouTuber who lives in London. And he seems really nice. And we've emailed each other a couple of times. But I really want to shoot with him one day. And I'd love to interview him for the channel, because he first of all, he seems super nice, and he seems really friendly from his videos and the way he conducts himself. But it would be really interesting Tuesday to speak to Uta, because from what I understand, he is a gentleman from the south of London, and he shoots sometimes in his back garden, right? You see him like shoot from the kitchen table out across the garden. And I also know that he goes to a range late at night, and it'd be really interesting to speak to him. So Uta, if you watch this, please contact me, because I want to talk to you in person, like over the phone or over Microsoft Google Teams or whatever. And one day I want to shoot with you too, because that would be really good fun. So if there's any more questions, let's say, Gary's from London, cool. Well, let's say any city in the UK and where space is limited. Ranges, yes. I would suggest it would be ranges, like the one that is ran by my wonderful friends at Crackshot in Newton Abbot, which you're probably all sick of hearing me say that. So things that we've learned from today is that these little live streams are slightly more popular than I could have anticipated. That we all want to encourage people to shoot, and we all want to encourage people to be happy and to be safe whilst they're shooting. We have not solved the great debate between 177 and 2.2. It doesn't need to be. Some people might ask, what is the better guitar brand, Ibanez or Fender? The answer is Ibanez, right? Or they might ask, what is the better guitar, a Les Paul or a Strat? The answer is a Strat. Although I have been bought a Les Paul by a special person before. I'm more of a Strat guy, right? But they both do the same job. It's just personal preference. Schedule them in. I'm not sure what that means, but or a reminder. These. Okay, yeah, I will schedule these talks in. Let me get the work week out of the way, but let me schedule one of these in for Bank Holiday Monday, because that would be cool. With that being said, everyone take care, right? Stay safe and happy and look after each other. Telecaster is the best. What? I've owned many Telecasters and I never keep them. I find that with a Telecaster, Parkers, yeah, I'm a big fan of a Parker. With Tellies, no. They never really suit me. If they had one with a Floyd Rose and 24 frets and humbuckers, yes, but they don't. They're always fixed bridges and 21 frets, or 22, but I much prefer Super Strats. All right, guys, have fun, and I'll see you soon, okay? Bye-bye.